All right, shalom and kol mashallah. This is your boy, Yah's chosen one. Doing the video. This is part two of the book of Jasher, chapter 77. We left off last time where Pharaoh Adakim was putting our babies inside the walls and killing them, just like bricks. So I'm going to hurry to get through with this because it's a very long chapter. We'll start with verse 23. But they increased the latter work more than the former, and the children of Israel sighed at this, and their cry ascended to the Most High on account of their labor. So now their cries are ascending to the Most High. The Most High is starting to hear them. You know what I'm saying? And the Most High heard the voice of the children of Israel and their cry in those days, and the Most High remembered to them his covenant, which he had made with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And the Most High saw the burden of the children of Israel and their heavy work in those days, and he determined to deliver them. Now we're getting somewhere. Now the Most High is thinking, these are my children. This is I promised something to them. I have a covenant. Even though I am the Most High, I have to go according to my covenant. Because what kind of God would he be if he breaks his covenant? A covenant is a promise. You know what I'm saying? It's a contract. So what kind of God would he be if he broke his contract? We couldn't rely on him. We couldn't depend on him. It's like, man, the Most High goes against his word. So the Most High is pretty much under contract with us to keep that promise that was given to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And the Most High saw the burden of the children of Israel and their heavy work in those days, and he determined to deliver them. And Moses, the son of Amram, was still confined in a dungeon in those days in the house of Ruel the Midianite, and Zipporah, the daughter of Ruel, did support him with food secretly day by day. So we got to look at it. Ruel was a Midianite, meaning that he was a Hamite. You know what I'm saying? And in those days, it wasn't right for a Hebrew to take a Hamite, as you're going to see when Moses returns back to Israel, that some of his kids were rejected and his wife was rejected. They told him to take them back. All right, and at the end of 10 years, which was the first year of the reign of Pharaoh over Egypt in the place of his father, Zipporah said to her father Ruel, no person inquires or seeks after the Hebrew man, whom thou didst bind in prison now 10 years. Now therefore, if it seem good in thy sight, let us send and see whether he is living or dead. But her father knew not that she had supported him. Now the whole time when Moses was in this dungeon, in this jail, he wasn't, Ruel was thinking that some Egyptian had lost their slave and they was going to reclaim Moses, but that never came to pass. And Zipporah would secretly go down and feed him and give him food and water and all that stuff. And for 10 years, man, the Bible doesn't mention it, but for 10 years Moses was held in Midian. You know what I'm saying? For the longest of time. And Ruel, her father, answered and said to her, has ever such a thing happened that a man should be shut up in a prison without food for 10 years and that he should live? Just that kind of thought right there that Ruel was thinking about leaving this man down there for 10 years and not feeding him, man. That just shows what kind of man that dude is. You know what I'm saying? And Zipporah answered her father, saying, surely thou hast heard that the Most High of the Hebrews is great and awful, and does wonders for them at all times. It was who delivered Abraham from Ur of the Chaldeans, and Isaac from the sword of his father, and Jacob from the Malak of Yah, who wrestled with him at the ford of Jabbok. Also with this man has he done many things. He delivered him from the river in Egypt, and from the sword of Pharaoh, and from the children of Cush. So also can he deliver him from famine and make him live. Now see, the God of Israel was known throughout. Even though these Hamites were serving like Osiris and Anubis and Isis and all of them, they still knew about the God of Egypt. They knew he was a real God, but they still served their gods. But they knew of the God of Egypt, and they knew the wonders that he did for the Israelites, man. It was terrible in their eyes. You know what I'm saying? Uh, Also, with this man, he has done many things. He delivered him. Okay, he delivered him from the river. Remember, they found Moses floating down the river in the basket. That was all caused by Yah. Because remember, they had to put him in that basket because remember, the Egyptians had ordered them to kill all the male children of Israel. So that's why they placed that child in the basket so it wouldn't be killed. And the Most High caused that compassion to come on Pharaoh's daughter to wean that child. And the thing seemed good in the sight of Ruel, and he did according to the word of his daughter, and he sent to the dungeon to ascertain what became of Moshe. And he said, and behold, the man Moshe was living in the dungeon, standing upon his feet, praising and praying to Yah of his ancestors. And Ruel commanded Moshe to be brought out of the dungeon, so they shaved him, and he changed his prison garments and ate bread, which was custom for pretty much any Hamite country. Just like Egyptians, they shave their heads and stuff like that. That was their way of saying that you're clean and stuff like that. And it was he prayed. He looked opposite to him, and behold, a sapphire stick was placed in the ground, which was planted in the midst of the garden. And he approached the stick, and he looked, and behold, the name of Yah, the Almighty of hosts, was engraved therein, written and developed upon the stick. And he read it, and stretched forth his hand, and he plucked it like a forest tree from the thicket, and the stick was in his hand. And this, now listen to this. This is very important. It's not in the Bible. It's not in anywhere. But I still haven't saw that book, saw that movie Noah. But I guarantee you, that producer read this book. Now read this. And the stick with which all the works of the Almighty were performed after he had created heaven and earth and all the hosts of them, seas, rivers, and all their fishes. Now you see that? Now in the movie Ten Commandments, Moses has that stick. This is that stick. That stick is more than a stick. That stick had already been there since the beginning of time. This was the stick that the Most High used to create the universe, along with his Malachim. And if you read in Jasher, that stick was given down from generation to generation. It was given to Noah. It was given to Joseph. When we read it, it was given to Joseph. And somehow, when Ruel left Egypt, he happened to get his hand on Joseph, this stick right here, and plant in the garden. And you know, there was men. Oh, actually, it's gonna say it right here. You ever seen the Shakespeare thing, Excalibur? No one could get that stick out of the could get that stick from the Lady of the Lake or out of that rock. Now I want you to parallel what I'm about to read with you right here. Check this out. And when the Most High had driven Adam from the Garden of Eden, he took the stick in his hand and went and tilled the ground from which he was taken. All right, so you see, the Most High made it with this stick in the Malachim. He gave that stick to Adam to till the ground in the Garden of Eden. Now, and the stick came down to Noah. Now we see Noah getting it. And when that guy that made that movie, that guy knew about this. When you see in that movie in Noah, when Noah takes that stick and slams it down and all that fire comes out, ain't nothing but this right here, man. And was given, and then Noah, and was given to Shem and his descendants until it came into the hand of Abraham the Hebrew. So it went down from the descendants of every Hebrew. It went down from Adam. It went down to Noah. It went down to Shem. Then it was given to Abraham. Now let's see what happens. And when Abraham had given all he had to his son Isaac, he also gave him the stick. So you see that? Now Isaac had the stick. Now let's continue. And when Jacob had fled to Paddan Aram, he took it into his hand and went. And when he returned to his father, he had not left it behind him. Also, when he went down to Egypt, he took it into his hand and gave it to Joseph. You see that? one portion above his brethren, for Jacob had taken it by force from his brother Esau. And I told you before how Esau had got it. Esau had stole it out of let me see, he stole it out of, oh my God, Isaac's tent. That's how Esau got it. Now, and after the death of Joseph, the nobles of Egypt came into the house of Joseph, and the stick came into the hand of Reuel. There you have it. That's how Reuel got the stick, the Midianite. And when he went out of Egypt, he took it into his hand and planted it in his garden. So listen here, Reuel knew of this stick. He knew the powers that this stick possessed. Let's continue to see what happened. And all the mighty men of the Kenites tried to pluck it when they endeavored to get Zipporah his daughter, but they were unsuccessful. Now, what is it? What is that? I just told you. They had this stick, and they tried to pluck it out the ground, but they couldn't. They weren't strong enough. There only be one person who can pluck that out of the ground if they was worthy. Now, don't you see how that parallels with the story of Excalibur? It's the same thing. Now look, so that stick remained planted in the garden of Reuel until he came who had a right to it and took it. Now tell me that ain't Excalibur, man. You know, they take all these poets and stuff, and it's like, man, how can you make that story? Most of these stories are written in our books, man. They stole these books from us to make them look like geniuses. Now check this out. And when Reuel saw the stick in the hand of Moshe, he wondered at it, and he gave him his daughter Zipporah for a wife. So Moses was worthy. Moshe was worthy to get it. It was just like Excalibur. He took that stick. And you know the story from there, from how Moses brought the plagues upon Egypt with this stick. This stick had done a lot. This stick was very important. It had done a lot. Now you see the parallel. That was in Exodus chapter 2, verse 21. Very important chapter right there, man. It lets you know if this stick still exists. You know what I'm saying? That is cool stuff. Like who this day could have this stick? Is this stick posted in an Oval Office? Is this somewhere in England? Is this somewhere among the Illuminati? Do they know about this stick? They know that one possesses this stick and has some kind of power, right? Ain't that cool? All right, man. Just like always, man, if you have any comments, anything, leave it at the bottom, you know, and you know, I challenge you, man, to think for yourself, man. Think about that, man. It's just no coincidence how these movies come out. I've yet to see the Noah movie, but I am going to see it. It's not on Netflix yet, but I think I'm just going to try to download it or something. We actually have a movie theater that plays those movies, but I think I'm going to go watch that movie, because the thing is, with a lot of Christians, they probably didn't understand. If they hadn't read this book, they probably didn't understand about that stick. You know what I'm saying? It's like, how Noah have all that power? That don't say it in the Bible. You're right. It doesn't say it in the Bible, but it damn sure it says it in the book of Jasher. All right, man. Love you guys. Kol Marsha Allah. And shalom to all of you, man. Just keep the faith. Just keep going, man, because this is good stuff. I love all of you, and I'll see you on the next vid. Shalom.